Hello, reactors, and welcome back. Welcome to Season 3. Damn, it is hard to believe that I'm kicking off the third season of this show. I couldn't be happier, though, and I definitely couldn't have done it without you, the listeners. For Season 3, I've done a little bit of rebranding. I'm shifting the focus from just movies to all things pop culture. Everything you love is still here, but as we move through the new season, you may start noticing some changes. As the show grows, my craft grows with it. I now officially go by The Reaction Shot, a pop culture podcast. This slight title change helps signal the expansion of what I'll be covering. One thing that hasn't changed, I'm still a part of the You Run Podcast Network, a network jam-packed with amazing creators covering a wide range of topics. It's an entire lineup of shows that you absolutely need to check out. In fact, let me draw your attention to one in particular, Under the Floorboards. John and Eric host a razor-sharp horror comedy podcast where every episode plunges you into a horrific world filled with laugh-out-loud banter. Along the way, listeners are treated to past and present horror movie talk, surprise guests from indie directors to Scream Queen legends, exclusive interviews, movie screeners, and independent horror news. Subscribe to Under the Floorboards on your favorite podcast app and dare to laugh when you think you're safe. Their show is honestly incredible. Check it out. You can find this show and many others all in one place at yourunpodcast.com. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow the show on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or wherever you like to listen. If you're feeling extra cheerful, drop a 5-star review and let me know what you're loving about the show. It's one of the best ways to support the podcast and help more people discover. Oh, and there's merch now too. That's right. Shirts, hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, travel bags, you name it. Wear your reaction today. You can find the link in the bio. Okay, now, back to today's episode. Season 3, Episode 1. Today's episode is a real treat for film lovers, comic book fans, and anyone who appreciates the grind of independent filmmaking. I'm sitting down with the creative minds and rising talents behind the award-winning short film, JOKERS Wild, and the team gearing up to bring the batshit crazy sequel, LAZARUS Risen, to life. I'm joined by writer and director Aaron W. Bennett, along with cast members Joel LeBlanc, Lauren Alenia, and Morley Nelson. We dive into everything from the origins and success of the first short to the passion and vision driving the new sequel that's currently in the funding stages. Lauren steps into the iconic role of Harley Quinn. Morley teases a top-secret character. Joel wonders if he's even still alive. And Aaron shares his drive to get the cameras rolling on this sequel. Together, they open up about their careers, their creative journeys, and their shared love of pop culture. If you're curious about what it takes to build a fan-driven film universe from the ground up, or you just want some early news on JOKERS Wild, LAZARUS Risen, you're in the right place. Before we start, please check the links in the show notes to watch the original JOKERS Wild short film starring David Howard Thornton and Joel LeBlanc, as well as the merch store for the film, where all earnings go directly towards the funding for the sequel. Okay, I'll shut up now. Hey, will the 4 of you get over here, please? It's time to chat all things JOKERS Wild, LAZARUS Risen. Hey everyone, I'm Dave Herman, and this is The Reaction Shot, a pop culture podcast where my lifelong obsession with pop culture finally gets the voice it deserves. Movies, television, music, the stories, the sounds, and the moments that have shaped us, moved us, and kept us buzzing. Here, I dive into a piece of pop culture that means something to me something iconic, something underrated, or something I just can't stop thinking about. The fun part of all of this, I'll be bringing in a guest who's experiencing it all for the very first time. That's where the magic happens. Fresh eyes meet longtime fandom. Nostalgia meets no ties and no bias. Just two honest views breaking it all down together. Different perspectives, real conversations, and first-time experiences. But the reaction shot isn't just about the art. It's about the people behind it. From actors and writers to directors, musicians, and the creatives who shape the culture we connect with. I sit down with them from time to time to talk life, career, and the moments in pop culture that they'll forever be tied to. A deep look into the projects directly from the source. So settle in, hang out, and join me and my guest for a laid-back conversation, genuine reactions, and a whole lot of pop culture love. I am so glad you're here. This is The Reaction Shot, where pop culture gets another reaction. And with that, I have to ask, what's your reaction? Fade in. All right, everybody, I'm sitting here with Aaron W. Bennett. He is the writer and director of Joker's Wild and a very exciting upcoming sequel to that short film. I have Morley Nelson, I have Joel LeBlanc, and I have Lauren Alenia. Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Hello.
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no. I'm so happy to have you guys. I was talking about this being my very first challenge. I've never done a podcast interview where there are 4 people I'm talking to simultaneously. Thanks for the challenge, guys. I appreciate it. But challenge accepted. You guys all showed up, so I definitely appreciate that. That's the first step. So Joel, I really have to ask you, before acting was even a thing, what did younger you imagine yourself doing?
Well, I've wanted to do the acting thing since I was 4 years old. If I wasn't shooting on my mom's camera with my buddies, I wasn't really happy. So, as Aaron really knows, if I wasn't making films, I was dressing up, doing cosplay stuff, or I was me and my twin brother always dressed up as Batman and Robin for Halloween, and I was always Robin. He was the older one, so he got to be Batman, and so now we make jokes that I'm like, man, when he has kids now, so I'm like, now you have to be Batman and have a Robin of your own, and now he does. So, but no, I've loved acting since I was 4, and when I got a little bit older, I kind of lost my confidence in myself and started working behind the camera. But I went back to it just a couple of years ago, about 5 years ago, and really just told myself no matter what, I believe in myself, and just putting in the work and the training and trying to make myself believe that I'm good enough to do it. So, I'm back ready to make my dreams come true and, just be successful and happy. So I can't imagine doing anything else. Hopefully not.
Well, hey, that's awesome. That's a great answer. What kind of movies were you making when you were younger?
It's funny. I made pretty much anything, but I was a really big fan of Indiana Jones. I always dressed up as Indiana Joel.
Joel.
That's what I called it. Yeah,
I love
Indiana
that.
Joel.
That's great.
I was a big DC and Marvel fan too. So any superhero stuff, I was doing that kind of stuff.
Awesome. You fell into the right world there. Lauren, we talked a little bit over the summer. I talked about your cosplay. We talked about your career, and you actually got cast in this role as Harley Quinn for the new sequel to Joker's Wild called Lazarus Risen. You talked about how much you enjoyed dressing up as Harley Quinn. How does her energy match yours?
Oh my goodness. I think being just very spontaneous. And I think if we're talking like classic Harley Quinn, 100%, spontaneous and just going for the ride and, having fun with whatever. I think this adaptation of Harley, I don't think I relate to at all.
No?
And I think that's a great thing. So yeah, I'm really excited for everybody to see what's to come. And I'm just super honored and blessed. And I'm going to take such good care of this character.
Absolutely. We all have faith in you for that. So we are very excited to see what becomes of this character on screen and how you bring her to life. So
thank you.
Hey, Morley, what kind of kid were you? Were you a performer? Were you a storyteller? What was your childhood like?
Uh, so I was, I have no memory of my childhood because no, I'm kidding. I was,
He blanks it out.
yeah, I did totally. It was so traumatic that I try not to remember it at
Oh
all. But
no.
no,
Mm.
yeah, no. Uh, as a kid, I always wanted to do the typical, I want to be a firefighter or a cop or whatever. Um, I don't, I didn't really get into acting until college. Or actually, that's not true. That's a lie. I was in a few school plays, like in middle school and high school, and um, because I was the lead in our my senior high school play, I decided to become a theater major, and so I went to college for that and studied, all the classically trained actor, and then my senior year, my advisor, who was the head of the department, told me that no one is going to pay $100 per seat to watch someone perform Shakespeare that looks like me. So I was worried that I wasn't going to work ever. And so I ended up getting my master's in sociology and did a totally different career route. And then fortunately came back into the film world. So um, I
Good
didn't,
for
I
you.
guess, thank you. Yeah. So I guess,
I know how that goes.
yeah, like you have to do whatever it takes to get back to your passion. Right. And I think
Absolutely.
suffering for your art is good because you can tap into the emotions that you typically
Yeah.
wouldn't have. Like I feel bad for nepo babies, because they really don't have the struggle or not that. I mean, struggle is all contextual, right? But
Sure.
I don't think they have the same route into doing what it takes to be successful as an actor, which is virtually impossible today, right? To be be popular and unique and everything else, but yeah, childhood. I had a great childhood. I can't complain. I had great parents. I had a little brother. I would tease and tickle all the time. He was not my Robin. I would. And when I was babysitting him, I actually tied him upside down once to some shelves and tickled him until he peed his
Oh my
pants.
God.
Oh,
So I don't know if that just disqualified me as a superhero, but my honesty is sometimes, I would say that that's my biggest superhero strength. But
I think that's where anti-hero comes from.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Inventor.
So I'm the flawed protagonist. No, yeah, it was. I think the other thing that's common with actors too is that I just refuse to grow up in some areas. Right. I think in most interesting people in art, whether that's painting or wardrobe or building sets or acting, right? I think is still tapping into that childhood that you didn't really get to fully experience. So I don't know. Was that it? What was the question?
Hey, I think you answered it perfectly.
Okay.
To be
Okay.
totally honest, that's great. Look at you now. Here you are, killing it, getting ready to do this awesome project. I know you've had a lot of great projects you've already done. I love that answer. You did a really good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. When was the first time you knew that you
follow
I
little
know.
brother upside down
Yeah.
story?
Listen,
Well,
I think
that was
you're
just last
tapping
week.
Oh, last week. Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
It was the kid's childhood. Yeah, got you.
yeah.
You
Aaron,
should just wrap this now.
yeah, that's the end, guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Guys, I
cut.
appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Did we mention that Aaron is my little brother? I forgot that part of the story.
Oh,
It was
even
so
better.
Just last
embarrassing.
week. Yeah.
How did you do that?
This all
I
just came
untied him
full
for
circle.
the podcast. I mean, what else do you want? Like, come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is where
Thanks
you
for
get
sharing.
up and walk out
Yeah.
and then walk into my frame.
Yeah, like surprise, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it. Well, thanks for that surprise there. I'm glad we know what was going on in Aaron's childhood just from that right there. So, Aaron, when was the first time you knew that you wanted to be a storyteller? Was there a certain film or a project that you stumbled upon when you were younger that you were like, "This is what I want to do"?
Oh man. I know like two very specific instances. One was the first time I wanted to be like a comedian or performer was when I was 8 years old. Um, and I always remember this very vividly. Like, did not have any sort of real relationship with my grandmother. but we were living in her home, and my dad was not the favorite son-in-law at all by any stretch. He was like long-haired hippie, and wasn't wealthy, and just was kind of mouthy, and so him being in the family kind of that filtered down, and so I was just kind of there. Like she'd talk about my cousins and light up, and oh my god, Jacob did this and Jason did this, oh ha ha ha, but it was never like, what did Aaron do? I don't know which one, So, but we had our first connection on a Halloween when I dressed up and did an impression of a Groucho Marx with the little glasses and a big cigar that I had made out of rolled up newspaper, and she laughed for the first time and just hysterically, and took me around to our rural neighborhood, house by house, and showed me off, and then had me do the impression and the voice and the walk and everything for every single neighbor. And that was huge to me. It was the first time that I had used comedy to connect with someone that I saw that, being a crack up or a clown was gonna elicit like emotion in other people's and help bridge like a really uncomfortable gap. And so like that was definitely kind of like a switch. I mean, I was the whoopee cushion kid after that. Like I was getting in trouble all the time. I would actually like wear them out and buy them in like bulk. I probably over the span of like from 7 or 8 years old to like 16, I probably went through like 12 or 13 whoopee cushions. They would just get confiscated, and I'd literally just open my desk and pull another one out and just proceed.
You don't need them anymore, right? Like you just do it naturally. I feel like every conversation we have, I'm like, what was that noise?
It's a gift, Morley. I say it's a whoopee cushion.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait till it happens on this call.
But I just had like, I just developed a very juvenile, like the little plastic, cube of ice with a fly inside of it. Like any of those little dime store gags, I would just amass them, and I just thought that was just high art, and anything to get a laugh at all, and so that kind of coupled into like as far as storytelling goes, I think the first time I ever wrote a story that ever got any real attention. I was a freshman in high school, and the assignment was like write 3 paragraphs, and I wrote 5 pages. I just, because I had an idea and I wanted to go all the way through it. And I just longhand wrote this story, and turned it in. And it wasn't, I was trying to be a brown nose or anything, but I just thought it was a really cool thing. And I wanted to go, beginning to end. It was about a father and a son who went out to a cabin, and the dad had to sell a cabin. And he didn't know how to break the news to his son that this was the last time they were ever going to go to this cabin together. And then as a freshman, I came up with this like really emo ending of the dad goes in the cabin and locks the door, and then the cabin goes up in flames, and the kids outside bang on the door. Very traumatic emo, early
Very
90s,
dark.
Very dark.
early 90s garbage. But like she was just like, what the hell? Like, this is amazing. And she showed it to all of the other English teachers. And I really had an attachment to the English department. They were all great ladies. I would go in there and hang out with them on lunch. It was really bizarre, but I was kind of an old soul as a kid. And so they showed this to one another, and they all gave me like what I know now to be notes, like, hey, I really like this. I really like that. It would be great if you did this. And when you write, dialogue for this, do this. And it just kind of, these were all my favorite teachers telling me that they really liked something that I did. And so that kind of spurred me on to write more over time. And those are probably the 2 specific times where I'm just like, I kind of like this. So I like the feedback that I get, and it makes me feel like a unique kid. Like that was my thing that none of my other friends or peers were doing, was this writing thing. And like if it's something that I do, I would always try and figure out some weird way of getting attention from doing it or pushing the envelope to do it. Like I found out that there was a past tense to the word shit. And so I wrote a poem as one of our assignments and said shat. And I laughed my ass off because she was reading everybody's poems and she's getting to mine. And I'm just like,
Yeah, say it.
Right.
You know,
Say it.
like she's gonna say it, and nobody else knew what I had written, but I'm just back there going, "There's no way!" Like she's gonna self audit this right before it
Yeah.
comes out of her mouth, and she just goes, and then my personal favorite is this one, and I'm like, what? And then she said it, and it got a huge laugh, and she goes, "I'm only giving you points for this assignment because you used it in the proper tense."
Oh my
Oh.
And I was just like, I've been foiled. You're not supposed to pat me on the head. You're supposed to
Yeah.
berate me for being such a juvenile little prick.
Damn. Well, hey, that's quite the journey there, and I'm glad we have you now writing some pretty amazing stuff, including Joker's Wild. Where did the idea for Joker's Wild come from?
That was so the honest to goodness answer is like it's this guy here,
Yep.
a classic. I don't know, it's all blurry. Sorry about
A
that.
death in the family, correct?
But it's the death in the family subplot basically. Is a favorite of mine, but it's a favorite because like it was the first time that I'd ever seen a comic book creator incorporate the will of the people in a comic. You know, because they had that 1-900 number where you spent 50 cents and you called this number and you voted whether or not Jason Todd lived or died. And I thought that was an amazing mechanism for story development. And it had been so long since I'd read it, I'd kind of forgotten that was part of it. And I put it all back together, like, because I know that there's, a death in the family. And then, there were a couple others that overlapped in a similar way. And I couldn't remember which one it was. And it was David that, and I had to go back and, 35 years in my mind. And I just went down and bought another copy. I have like 2 of these other copies up in Washington State where I'm from. They're in storage, but I just went to the bookstore and bought a fresh one. I'm like, I got to make sure I'm doing this right. Like, I made a lot of mistakes in the first draft. Joel corrected, because I found somebody that like really understood the character, which is kind of important. Like Lauren really.
I thought we weren't going to mention that.
No, I don't care. No, man.
Okay.
Why lie? No, and in the first draft of the script that I sent Joel, I mean, you could tell, you could say it.
Well, the script one of the times had said Dick instead of Jason, and so I know I'm the kind of actor where I'm like I don't want to ever talk back to the director or anything like that, but I was like kind of just like beating around the bush a little bit. So like, yeah, I'm playing Jason Todd, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so when Jason Todd like dies and stuff, and he's like, oh, the script, yes, oh yes, I did notice that, yeah.
Oh, 1,000%.
It quickly changed, yeah.
Yeah, I lost nerd points. I old manned myself. Where you start like confusing your own kids' names. I'm like, why did he go? And he was so polite about it too. Just like the script is saying Dick, it's obviously Dick Grayson, and I'm like, that it's not even the right person, not even the right Robin. Why does there have to be a baker's dozen Robins out there? And they all die and they all come back. Like, come on, DC, help me sort through this.
Yeah.
Help an old guy out. But no, Joel was so polite about it. He's just the most gracious actor. And I just started laughing. And I'm just like, God damn it.
I vowed I wouldn't tell anybody, but here we are.
We are. It's okay. It's great. It shows that you guys work really well together. Did you guys know each other before this?
No, I met Joel through our producer, or my co-producer, Hunter G. Williams, who also played Batman in Joker's Wild. He had that small cameo at the end. And then he knew of Joel, and I went through like 15 or 20 different people on Actors Access. I mean, it was comically bad. None of these guys, I mean, some of them were like mid 40s, early 40s. Not that should matter, but if you're playing Jason Todd, it does. And these guys were submitting for the role. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, it clearly says in the description, Robin, like, and you're 40, man. Like, I'm sorry, you think that you can downplay into a high schooler, you've got stubble. Like, this is,
You're like, get out of here, Grandpa. Come on.
and I've
Yeah.
been on the other side of that where I was the actor going like, I can totally play 25, I'll just shave off the gray and,
Yeah.
it's makeup.
Yeah.
What are we
We've all
doing?
been there.
And I
Yeah.
get it. I know all these guys too were probably very like, they really wanted to play this character, but it's just not going to work visually. There's no way I'm going to pull it off. It's not going to be convincing. And it was just a no. And Hunter let me go through all that process. And he was like, okay, if there's no one here that you see, I want to pitch you on someone
Mm.
that I know, but I don't want it to be like some sort of buy-in backdoor type of situation where we're going to go with someone we know and everyone else doesn't get to have a chance. And he goes, I want you to meet this kid. Yeah. I'm sorry, Joel.
That's a compliment. Joel, that's a compliment. Come
Yeah,
on.
take it.
Hey, I'm not gonna fight it. No, it's all good.
Look at that baby face. Come on.
Yeah.
Perpetual teenager. Put him in a high school comedy. We're trying to-
Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
But he goes, yeah, I want you to meet Joel. And then I saw the pictures that you submitted first, and brilliant, by the way, and to send out to any actor out there, that if you know the role that you're playing for, which you don't always, but if you know that it's a characteristic person or type or something like that, wear the outfit or find a photo in your stockpile that has you in the outfit. And it absolutely impressed me when I received a picture of Jason Todd, like in the gear and striking a pose, like an action pose and everything. It's like, that makes it a no-brainer because now I can help visualize this. I can see this guy. Also, I saw that he had a passion for the character in that he was willing to go that far. I thought that was great. Earned extra points there. And then, Hunter assured me, he's like, I've met him. I know, I think it was your uncle was like the person in the middle that kind of connected everything, I think.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he assures me he's not a prick. Like, he's going to be easy to work with, which is a huge deal when you've only got one day. It's like, I need my SAG required break, and these ropes are only slightly too tight. Is cotton, I'll be in my trailer and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't have time for that guy. And he's just like, no, this he's a homie. He's happy to do it. He's excited. He's got a positive attitude. And I'm like, great. I want to meet him. And it was a great joy to tell someone that he got that role. That was something that I got to credit Hunter for. He was just like, this is going to be a thing as a director that you get to do very rarely because it's so hard to put a production together when you get to tell someone that they've got the part.
Yeah, Joel, what was it like getting that? What was your reaction?
I'll admit, Aaron can attest. It might have been a little bit unprofessional how excited I was. Usually, you're supposed to be like, "Oh yeah, no, thanks, I can't wait for it," and then get excited. But on the phone, I was definitely freaking out. It was a big opportunity, and like you said, films I'm very passionate about. So I was very, very grateful and thankful that they gave me the chance to do it, and I didn't hide it very well. So I was very excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely earned it. I mean, you did a great job. I think it all translates to screen that you cared about this role and you were ready to give your all. Came from a great script, great direction, and you definitely gave a great performance.
Thank you.
I think all the right choices were made. Now I'm going to circle over to Lauren and ask you, what was your reaction the first time you saw Joker's Wild?
I remember I saw it. I actually showed it to my family because I was like, this is insane. Like, you have to see this. And my dad, he loves DC. I was like, Dad, you have to watch this. And we got through it, we sat through it, and like me and my dad just looked at each other and we were like,
That's
like, that
cool.
was, yeah, Aaron, I give you massive props. It's something that's never been done ever. It's never been crossed over with two different genres like that. And it was just absolutely incredible. I remember I was just like so stoked, and I was just like, holy crap, like it's incredible. It is. Visually, the acting, like, you guys did phenomenal. Seriously.
Joel.
Aaron.
Lauren, now you're being welcomed with open arms into this world. What do you think you're going to be able to bring to this project? What do you want people to see transition onto screen for you?
I think what I could say is I want people to see, obviously, this is going to be a very different version of Harley Quinn, something that we've never seen before. It's going to be diving a lot into psychological and obsession with love and mental health. And for someone who, I mean, I've been advocating mental health for years. I've been anti-bullying, and, you know, I've been just very out there with mental health just on my social media journey. So this being a part of the role, that I definitely want to be a takeaway, 100%. And of course, insanity.
Cool. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what we're looking forward to for sure. Morley, kind of the same thing for you. You know, how do you feel joining this world? I know your role in this project is top secret, but how do you feel, jumping into the sequel of Joker's Wild?
I feel typecast that I'm coming as Aquaman. But, no.
I knew it.
Yeah,
Exclusive.
Yeah, there we go.
No spoilers. Come on. No spoilers.
You can edit
shit.
this,
I'll
right?
edit it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awkward.
yeah.
Whew. All right.
No, it
That
was
was good.
I think it's interesting. You have the level of love and commitment that obviously went into Joker's Wild from everybody, but as watching a captain drive that ship so well, and that ship is fantastic. It serves up eggs and bacon really well, right? It's all the trimmings. It's a shock to me that, and Aaron and I talk about this a few times, but I cannot believe that James Gunn has not contacted Aaron in some way, shape, or form to have him do anything in the DC universe. Like, this is, they talk about a lot of shorts are calling cards, and watching so many dramas right now that are up for awards and everything else. It's just like, well, how did this first-time director get nominated to be, at Cannes, and how did, why is he being considered for a Screen Actors Guild? Why is his movie being considered for a Screen Actors Guild award? And then, you're like, okay, let's look at the shorts that they've done prior to that to get funding to do that movie. And I look at something like Joker's Wild, and I just cannot believe that Aaron hasn't been contacted by a studio, whether it's a mini major, mid-level, or major studio. And again, it's like a shock to me that with the fan reaction and the cult following and the performances and the lighting, set design, production value, everything, the sound is shit, but everything else is great. No, I mean the fact that it's so fantastic. It's such a great production. I just cannot believe that there is that Aaron isn't doing something for DC. Right. And I think if Marvel had any sense in them whatsoever right now, they would contact him and steal him away from the DC universe and utilize him in some way, Secret Wars. But, I don't know. It's that, to me, is a crime. Right. I think we're at that point in Hollywood too, where you look at, a lot of people in LA, or a lot of people anywhere, would say he had what budget to do what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And in this current state of affairs for production in the United States, that is also shocking to me. So it's like a compounding factor of great product, low budget. We need that right now. And that's what everyone claims that they're looking for. So Joker's Wild 2, I think, will be twice as good, twice as badass, twice as, which is would be insane, right? Because that's a tall order to beat. But, I think also you have some a returning actor, you have a director who's has done everything in the space and now can do more, right? So it's getting back on the bike, and this time it's a motorcycle. And I'm running out of metaphors, but
Nailed it.
Yeah. So I think it's,
thank you.
Again, I forget what the question is, but yeah, no, it's just the truth, right? Like, this is I mean, Dave, you know very well, like, this is a fantastic, otherwise you wouldn't have us on right now to talk about it if it was
Yeah.
just a phenomenal project, right?
Yeah. I love everything that you just said. I totally understand because I could not agree more. I think Aaron mentioned earlier something about Joel's passion and want to do the role. And I always say in a lot of things in life, if you don't have the want, you're not going to have a good outcome. That's the initial thing. If you don't want to do it, then you're not going to be the right person for the role. So when that passion shines through, and let me tell you, just talking to you guys right now, the love and passion in this room is very high. I think this is a great group of people that are be coming together to make a sequel. And everything that you said about James Gunn, or reaching out to Aaron, reaching out to any of you in general, I mean, Lazarus Risen could be that moment for you guys. You have all of the recognition from Joker's Wild. I see people talking about Lazarus Risen online. There's definitely talk. There's definitely a community. Putting out another project, no matter what time it comes out, you still have that following. So there's always going to be that conversation. And if you guys put even a quarter of the love and passion you put into the first one, this one's going to be at least twice as huge, if not even more. And it's going to get into other people's minds, and the conversation is going to get bigger, and it's going to be well deserved. So maybe this is going to be the James Gunn call. Going to reach out to each of you personally and be like, "This is what we got for you."
If he still has a job, right?
If he still has a job, I mean,
yeah, right. I mean,
at this point, I think Aaron's taking over.
yeah. Well, and and you might have to edit this out too, but just reading the script and seeing the amount of characters too in this one, and the way they're written is something that as much as I've consumed, and there's so much on the menu for DC, right? I mean, not just the comic books, but when you're talking animated films, like they have a gajillion animated films, right? The how many different versions of Batman and Superman and everything else that's live action, right? To see characters that haven't been done before in this way, I think in a shocking way. Again, try not to spoil it, but just iconic characters coming to life in the manner that if they're, like you had said, if they're half as good or just an infinitesimal amount as good as they look on the page, I think you're going to have that awesome shock for fans that is going to drive a conversation for a long time. And I really do think that, there's somebody's, I mean, it may not be James Gunn, but James Gunn's assistant, whose assistant will contact their assistant.
Absolutely.
And then the guy in the mailroom will probably call you.
Yeah.
But still, at some point, somebody will have to, I mean, yeah. Can I say that about the characters? That you have like 20 characters?
It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. We had David Howard Thornton's Joker, and we had Joel, and then Hunter for just a blink, and because we only had a day, we had about 11 and a half pages to cover, and we got Joel out of makeup and upstairs in about 35 minutes. He was really good in the chair, and I patted it. I spent I mean, it's going to sound like so much money because there was no money, but I spent a fourth of my budget on the makeup team, and I had 3 people. I had Tatiana Bouchel, and then her 2 assistants, Pedro Rios and Cassie White, and so they just triple teamed Joel and threw him in wardrobe, but Aaron Camacho got him done up, and then poof, upstairs. We just drug him upstairs, threw him in a chair, tied him up, and just shot everything, all the ambiance, all the close-ups, all the blood dripping off the fingers, like everything we can do. And Chris Bond, my DP, literally turned to me and he's like, I don't know what else we could possibly shoot. And then that's when we heard the WWE of like wrestling music coming from, and some cackling coming from downstairs, upward. getting closer and closer, and then like Cassie comes in and she's like, "Okay, David's ready." The first scene, he's like, "Oh, thank God!"
Oh man.
It could not have been bookended better, because that
Mhm.
was right at, I think, 3 hours
Yeah.
that it took to get David. So we had 2 makeup chairs going, and once we booted him, they double teamed, and I took Pedro upstairs, and Pedro kept uh, uh, touch ups going on Joel, so we could move very, very quickly, and then realized we moved so quickly that we basically ran ourselves into the ground, and we're just like, oh, now what? And all of a sudden, we knew David was coming up the stairs, and we had an opportunity then. And he's like, Joel, I think, knows this part of the story better, so you probably tell this about David coming into the room, whether or not, you want to see him thing.
No. Yeah. No, the first time I see David is actually in the film, because they asked me if I wanted to see him beforehand, but the whole time he's talking about me 3 hours filming downstairs, I was blindfolded the whole time. So they say we filmed a lot. I have no idea. I have no idea we filmed anything. But
He was napping.
I hear David
Napping.
marching up the stairs, cackling, laughing, playing music, classic Joker. And then I hear them like, "Okay, he's coming up. Do you want to see him?" And I was like, "Nah,
Mhm.
no. I want to make it as real as possible. I want to see him for the first time, because I know in the script he's going to lift up the one good eye." And I saw him for the first time, and apparently Aaron knew that was the one that had to be in the movie. So that's
Mhm.
one of my favorite stories of the day. The top 5 at least for sure is seeing David for the first time in the film, because it's pretty scary, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those real-time reactions are usually the money shot. I think that
Mhm.
real reaction definitely translates really well to screens. I love that you guys kind of kept it that way, and that was the shot that you ended up using. So it's a great moment. Just seeing you tied to the chair at first in general, seeing, him dancing around in the background, David Howard Thornton is fantastic. So that build up to that moment of him pulling up to look at your one good eye, great moment. So I love that. Lauren, what was the audition like for you for Harley Quinn?
So the audition, I really prepared. I was really studying, days before. And while getting ready for the audition, Aaron, I don't even think I told you this. I was listening to it's like an internet creepy pasta thing. It's called Daisy Bell. It's a song.
Okay.
If you guys look it up, you'll know what I'm talking about.
We'll check it.
I had that on repeat while I was getting ready.
Awesome. So you were
Yeah,
so you were
for like
trying
an
to really,
hour.
you were tapping into the creepy side of Harley and her.
Yeah. Oh
Gotcha.
yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely. And I was
Um,
so ready and so excited, and I was like, "Oh my god."
yeah. Oh, yeah, I bet. So the day that I interviewed you, Lauren, over the summer, you had an audition right after our interview. Was it this or was it something else?
It was something
Okay. All right. I was like, man, it'd be really cool, really full
that would be
circle
such
if
a
it
cool
happened to
tie
be the
around.
same one.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
We'll just tell the story that way though. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And you guys want to do that again, Lauren? Say it was this next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Let's
that
redo.
Take 2.
Take two.
that was the audition.
Yeah. I was going to be like, man, I was there for you to hype you up for it. So, no, that's awesome. Yeah. It's getting into character. You say you playing the creepy music in the background is very fitting. I can envision you, even in an outfit like that, listening to that creepy music and then getting on for that audition. Aaron, what was her audition like from your point of view? Obviously, you hired her, so I guess she did a good job.
Yeah. No, I sent the script to her, and and I was just like, okay, so man, it's hard because I don't want to give away any like
It's
plot
hard.
point or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
No,
I
no.
sent the actual script to her, and the reaction that I got was kind of, I don't think she anticipated what was going to happen to her character in the way that it does. and so there was a little bit of disbelief, like, really, dude?
She's like, you wrote this? What?
It's so polite.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. She's just like, oh, this is a choice.
Yeah.
And
I think I
why?
said something. I was on the phone and I was like, "Wait, really?" Like,
Well, I can't wait to figure out what this is, and I know it's all
Like,
going to
oh,
come
buckle
together when I
up.
do.
I remember I gave the audition like 120%. I've been studying the character for years. I've loved Harley Quinn in every adaptation of her, and I was just like so determined. I was like, I'm gonna nail this. Um, Aaron, I hope you liked it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. Oh, I was really inspired too because I have you write something, you have a vision in your head of what you hope to see, and then you just roll the dice as to whether or not someone out in the atmosphere has some sort of connection to it that might be able to provide that, and it's different. Just seeing a bunch of cosplayers that do a really fantastic and amazing job of looking like Margot Robbie's or one or the other variant of Harley Quinn, and like visually, yeah, that's it takes a specific person, specific body type, specific mannerisms, and everything. And then if they can also walk around the convention and be in character, that's a plus. But does their voice sound like it, or do they sound like a 90-year-old diner smoker waitress? Like who can they? Can they do that? And it's like you just point after point after point. And during her audition, I was just like, okay, yeah, now I can see it. I can see her saying the things I need her to say. And then when I actually got a chance to see her do that, I'm not coaching her through the audition. I told her a little bit about what I wanted, uh, and and then she did the audition, got it back to me in a really good time, and I was very excited. I watched it with uh, my EP from the last movie, Janelle, and I was just like, she goes, "What's this?" And I said, "Oh, this is an audition for Harley." And she goes, "Oh, really?" And she sat down and watched it, and she had not read the script for the sequel yet because I was still kind of playing around with what I wanted to do. She knew it existed, and didn't realize what was going to be happening to this character. And so I just let her watch it cold. And, she also is a fan of Margot Robbie's interpretation of the character. She's just like, well, what is she trying to do? Is she trying to do this or that? And I was like, I think she's doing her own thing, which I really appreciate because I don't want another Margot Robbie, or people are just going to say, oh, this is Margot Robbie. David said when he was doing his Joker, it's like, yeah, you can hear Mark Hamill, and you can hear uh, a little bit of, I mean, two or three probably good injections, and then there's a little Vincent Price too, and he's very honest and candid about that as well. It's like, yeah, these are the inspirations that I see when I hear a Joker, when I see a Joker. This is what's in my head. This is the first thing that comes to my mind because they're also the best iterations of what we have to go by. And Lauren did a really good job with finding the best iterations of the things that she had to go by, which is my nightmare variant of Harley Quinn. If there was a Harley, would it be a sweet, bubbly, lovely thing and just like sidekick mentality,
Right.
or would it be something much more awful? And I wanted to make a very real, a very nightmarish, um,
Very dark.
very dark
Yeah.
version, so that when people see it, they're not going to be like, oh, well, they're gonna be disturbed because it's going to be a person who partakes the life of crime that you would need to be in that position. And she will also look like someone who's been living that life of crime. And that's one of the things that I get pulled out of the moment when I watch regular DC movies, because if someone's running around as a woman in this world of crime with these criminals, thieves, rapists, all of these terrible people, she's not going to be unscathed, even if she was the best fighter or the strongest fighter or had a superpower of some nature. It's a powerful world of bad men,
Yeah.
and she's not going to have no scar on her face. She's
Right.
not going to have a perfectly coiffed hair cut. she's not going to be well manicured and well taken care of. Like, this Harley is not going to be any of those things.
It's
And
going to be very, very dark. Like, to add on what
very
you're
dark.
saying, it's just going to be very dark. I think that's really the best way to explain it. And as an actor, I think is going to be the most challenging role I'm going to take on. But that's what I'm so excited. I know I can do it, and I know I can get there. And it's going to take a lot of practicing and studying. And I think that people are going to look at this and say, okay, yeah, I see, like you were saying, Aaron, like the inspirations. Like, I took multiple inspirations in my audition. And even with the role, I'm going to be taking multiple things from multiple variants. She's still going to be sexy and, cutesy and, oh, but since she's also going to be, as you said, is going to make people disturbed. So this is going to be something new, and I am so excited. And Aaron, your mind is very brilliant. So I'm so excited for everybody to see what's coming up.
Absolutely. That,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
I think we've got a luxury, Dave, like without a doubt, is that nobody's doing this type of IP as horror. And so, like, yeah, people are making other types of classic open IP type situations like Winnie the Pooh and those types of movies into horror movies, and it's working. They're finding a fan base, and they're finding that there's a market for that. But I don't have permission to use any of this stuff. But I'm a fan of it, and I want to make my own fan film based on a genre that I'm learning more and more about. I'm not the most knowledgeable person about the horror genre. I'm not an encyclopedia of knowledge as it comes to like which actor was in which film and when about any genre at all. I don't have the mind for that a lot of people have. I love film. I love a good performance. I love a good story that sticks with me. I watched Hereditary. It was hard for me to watch that movie, but I know that I felt something when I was watching it. I felt completely uncomfortable. I didn't feel just scared. I felt physically uncomfortable and nauseous, not because there was gore, but just because it was so uncomfortable and plausible, and it felt like they were working through something that, if this, then that. I felt like if I was in his shoes, or I was in her shoes, or I was in the little girl's shoes, like what would be happening to me emotionally. Like, I'm like, this guy took me on a roller coaster that kind of transcended just a horror genre experience. And so seeing people out there making movies like this, like, I mean, yeah, I don't have the budget to do something like that, but there are talented people out there that have not yet been discovered or had the opportunity to do something like that. And if I can put enough of them together, like I did Joel, and I already knew David was going to be really good physically because I had seen him do other performances, and I had watched Nightwing Escalation, his web series where he plays the Joker, but I wasn't scared of him when he was playing that Joker. It wasn't a horror performance. It was a faithful to the material Joker, because he's passionate about that Joker specifically in that performance. But I knew what he would sound like. But then I gave him the script. He was just going to do a monologue initially. And I said, what if I write something original, based on some favorite beats and plot points and stuff like that. And we bring some people in, and instead of just doing a makeup test, which is what I proposed to get his attention, essentially. Just like in the beginning, I was like, what if we did a makeup test? Yeah. And he said, yeah. And so I know, if I have David for a day, I'm going to use it to the extreme. I'm going to absolutely make the most of it. And so I put together a script. I kind of, pushed it over to him that day when he said he was available to read something. He gave me the thumbs up, and I ran with it. And then, then came Joel, and then the rest of the production came together. I think it was like late November. Maybe Joel, it was like early, like around, like sometime around election week or just after, I think, when I got you the copy of the script or attached to you. I can't recall exactly. Yeah. And then we were shooting December 4th. So it's only been a year.
Yeah.
And he gave me 3 days. I'm available on these 3 days. What I didn't understand, and I should have asked, is he's available for those 3 days, not available on one of these 3 days. That was a key piece of information that would have not stressed me out so much, because I'm just like, how am I going to do 11 pages in this? Like, this is insane. But I wished to have David Howard Thornton, who right now is the biggest name in horror, with the biggest franchise in horror probably in the last 20 years. And it's just something that all true horror fans talk about and are very aware of. And, you've got guys, actors who, played Jason, who played Freddy, and they're just like, oh yeah, Dave, and they're having conversations about him. So, he's an authentic presence in horror and will be now, canon throughout the genre. And this guy I get for a day. What am I going to do with him? And I had an opportunity just for that moment to see how far, and he didn't even wince. And I thought about it later, like I'm going to have Jason die in a horrific way. Well, to David, that's a cup of tea, man. Like, this guy has sawed people stem to stern with a hacksaw. Like, just like.
I like to think that I died pretty modestly in that.
Very modestly by comparison.
Yeah.
It was a good one too. You did a great job.
Well, and Aaron, if it makes you feel any better, I wasn't available those other 2 days because I'm just as busy as David. So
it worked out.
If that puts
So
you
it
at
worked
ease,
out. It was kismet.
you wouldn't have had both of us for 3 days. It's not possible.
Oh yeah, I would have just had to shoot all your stuff and then take the day off, and then
all the extra work right there.
Absolutely.
I think, Aaron, you definitely made the right choice. I just thought of a memory when you were talking, and I met David back in 2021. It's super, this is way before Joker's Wild was even a thing. I met him at a convention. I was dressed as Harley Quinn. And I remember I met him and I was like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. Lauren, nice to meet you. And he was like, oh, you like Harley Quinn? And I was like, I love Harley Quinn. What's your favorite character? And he was like, oh, Joker. And so we actually have a photo of him holding the bat. And it was just a really funny encounter. Just because if only we knew.
Yeah,
If only we knew that Aaron would pick the best actor to portray Joker in this series. And it's just a real, I don't know, super ironic and funny,
No, it works out, and the universe works in strange and mysterious ways because this is very much David's Ryan Reynolds to Deadpool type moment where he got a chance to really flex and really work vocally and physically. I mean, it's the David show, but I argue that not having lines, Joel got acreage out of his performance. Just by being a man drugged up, capable of feeling just enough pain, but you can't die type of scenario. And the level of torture that we know that he put Jason Todd through in the comics and in all the other variants and anime and video games and everything else,
right?
Arkham Asylum and whatnot. It just got worse and worse for poor Jason. Joel did a terrific job in one day of embodying all of that misery. And I've heard now all through the festivals that it's been at and from the festival coordinators that I've chatted with online, that whoever that guy is that plays Robin, boy, you really just feel for him. It breaks your heart. And I'm just like, that's what an actor wants to hear.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
But there's so much you can emote. And if you can tell a story without saying a word, I mean, that says a lot about the level of acting that you offer. And then also, if you give script to a guy where he's going to actually be able to speak, and we'll know someday what his darn voice sounds like, then, we can only go up.
Yeah. But the original
you do a
title of the
terrific
movie,
job.
Thank you.
And it could
Thank you.
it could have just been somebody sitting in a chair and screaming and trying to, find
Yeah.
enough of himself to like be convincing take after take after take after
Mm-hmm.
take. But you have to realize that he did this for 10 and a half hours. And I can't imagine how exhausting that must have been. I tried to empathize as much as possible when I was stressing like 3 different, jobs at the same time of like, I have to remember that if he leans right here, I can't use it to take the where he leans left. And Joel was really great about consistent placement because, we had 27 setups, the different camera setups during the day for 11 different pages. And yet it is only in one room, which means if one of them steps one way or leans one way, that's not a match cut that I can use during the edit.
Right.
And Joel consistently, whether this was a conscious choice that you were aware of or just instinctively, you did the same placement of your body, the same lean. And whenever we got to a certain point in David's dialogue stream, which is a lot, he had a large villain, rant, stereotypical villain rant. And he was able to consistently place himself in a manner where I think during the edit, I only lost maybe 2 takes. And they weren't the best variations of that. I tried to get 2 or 3 of each moment and then just move on as quickly as possible. But there were a couple that truly one and done. And then we move on. And it was because David's delivery was consistent. He's very professional. He's very good, very gifted. People should be calling him more to do roles beyond horror, I think, because he offers a lot as an actor.
Absolutely.
Because he's a consistent and consummate professional. He came off book. It's a tremendous amount of dialogue. I just let him feel the space. And he goes, well, what do you want me to do? Talking wise, I told him, here, here, and here, and here, and just kind of move around and do this. Feel the window. I want to see you feel the window a little bit, and we'll work through that later. But I just kind of want to see you go through it once.
Mm.
And then he did. He marched through it, and there was no like line, like bring me some water line. He wasn't precious about anything. He was in character consistently through it. And if he did come out so we could have a conversation, it wasn't some obnoxious, like, I'm going to talk to the Joker to do it. I was talking to an actor, a human, and had the moment and the note. And then he jumped back in immediately. So there wasn't like 3 words of David and then the rest of it in the Joker. It's too many times do you see someone have their soft appearance from their natural person, and then half a sentence in, they're like, oh yeah, I'm the villain. And the delivery becomes consistent with what you've been seeing on set for the last 10 hours. It's like some people can't make that transition instantaneously, and David can. And it kind of is a crime that he doesn't get to speak in more of these roles, at least up to this point. I think now he'll be playing more characters that have, more speaking roles for sure. I actually have him attached to 2 features that we're trying to march forward, get financing for and finalize the details for other casting portions of it. They're both horror. But he has a speaking role in them. And, I had not met him at this point until this day. And certainly had never been on set with him then to see him act. And then so watching him act, I felt incredibly confident. I'm like, I'm going to offer him these other 2 movies to see if he likes these other 2 scripts. And then we'll go from there. But I wouldn't have done that if it would have been a wretched experience, or he lacked talent or personality, or was just incredibly difficult to work with, or was a nightmare in any way, or incapable in any way. And he was none of those things. He was a perfect person and a great human being to be around and to work with, funny and lighthearted and very congenial. And then just flipped a switch right when I said action and was a complete psychopath.
Absolutely.
I just a wild experience. The first take, I forgot to say cut. I just kind of sat there and stared and watched this long run through the script, and like everyone kind of looked at me for a second, and I was like, "What? Oh yeah, cut."
cut.
So we clearly have a lot to work with, but not a lot to work on, kind of scenario. And we had been in such a focused moment with Joel in his chair for like the last 2 hours that it was just this new element wandering into the room. And it just felt kind of like this addition of true Joker chaos, playing himself and just being there and so convincingly, and his impression and his character work with the voice of Joker, and watching that makeup walk around, it's kind of this very surreal thing. And so the first time that he lowers lowers the blindfold, and Joel gets to see him, and he kind of cringes a little bit, and it's a little bit of a grimace. It's because under that light, in that intense moment, with that close up, with this person, and also imagine covering up your eye, because he had no eye for the whole. Right, he had the goop covering it to make it look like his eye had been torn out. For this entire experience, it throws off your depth perception, and I can only imagine what that lack of focus is like. And plus, it's like cover up someone's eye and then all of a sudden put them in brightness, and then in that you've got this blurry, horrific, the blood splattered across his cheek. Hey, bud.
not to mention he was like right here.
Oh yeah.
So
just
so
right
did he
up
have fresh breath?
Right,
was it garlic breath or?
Yeah.
We did.
Was it
all I could
spearmint or
taste
garlic?
all I could taste and smell was fake blood the whole day. So
Okay.
Joel, you healed well.
Like
it was like a
corn syrupy.
Yeah. Corn syrupy kind of just it gets a little.
Thank God.
Sorry about that.
Diabetic.
Yeah, wish I could give you a hug, Aaron. Come on.
That was probably a note I should have asked if I was the responsible producer. Like, you having
Not at all.
allergies or medications?
They're like, "Do you want some lunch?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty full."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Super.
I'll give you some though.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever had the mint flavored theater blood?
Yes.
Oh.
That stuff is not good.
No.
I don't care what it is.
There's no good flavor.
Mint
Remind
flavor?
me. Yeah, no, they can make it taste like cotton candy. I don't care.
No.
It's just
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I think anything in your mouth that long, like in just in a movie, you're in there for so long.
Yeah.
Even if it is really good flavored, after the first couple hours, you're like,
You're
I'm
just
good.
done.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Sounds like college.
Love it. Aaron, I had to take note. A little bit ago, you said something. You referred to this movie as the nightmare variant. I think that is a perfect description of what you accomplished with Joker's Wild and what you're obviously going to jump into with Lazarus Risen. Nightmare variant. Those are 2 words right there that really sum up this project. With that being said, Morley, I have a question for you, and that is, what is your favorite on-screen adaptation of Batman?
Boy, I haven't had a chance to watch Bat Fam. Yeah. Oh wait, are you talking live action only, or are we talking anything and everything?
Anything, yeah.
I haven't. So I'm pleasantly surprised by the artistic style of Bat Fam that's on Amazon right now, because it reminds me of the old school. I don't know if it's 60s or 70s, but you can look at like the old school animation, where it was a lot of oils and watercolors mixed. And the drawing style is phenomenal, but I don't know if the story's any good. So I want to check that out. So I'm kind of reserving that one, but just based on the artistic style alone, I really want to check. I'd like to check that out. But boy, I really liked Will Arnett. Will Arnett's pretty good as Batman. But I think I'm gonna if I'm gonna be 1,000,000% honest, which is my superpower, by the way. I would say that Michael Keaton returning as Batman in the Flash movie gave me all the, I don't know if it was nostalgia or what it was, but he was just 1,000,000% Michael Keaton Batman at his age. The movie might have been shit, but Michael Keaton, when he's doing all the crazy Keaton Batman stuff. Like when he just kind of spins around in the chair in the Batwing and looks at him, he's just kind of got the crazy eyes and
Yeah. Yep.
he ejects. It's just like phenomenal. And then
Yeah.
when he's doing all the action or stunt guys doing all the action stuff, I love that. But I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question because you get back to the old, you can't forget I can't remember his name, but the guy that did the original like 1940s bat suit where he had the kind of crazy
Yep.
pajama ears or whatever.
Yep.
Those are actually pretty good, right? And for that time and the having, I don't remember how many different acting styles they had at that time, but not too many, not like today. So I think kudos off to that, but yeah, that's tough. I really like the animated dark, like Gaslight, Gotham by Gaslight. I like that stuff, but that's so not to go back to focus on Aaron so much because he doesn't deserve any attention. But I think his his world that he's creating is his DC universe in itself. It feels a lot like I think like a lot like you were saying, Dave, where it's that nightmare variant. It's almost like the McFarlane toy line
Ooh,
of your favorite superhero, right? Like
that's
they
a great.
dare to go, right? Right? Yeah, like they're like, here's what you would want as a fan that's not breaking the rules, but is just the most psycho, awesome, dark version of Batman or Joker or whatever they do, right? Even the Wizard of Oz series that they had, right? Those are just insane toys. But I think it goes to the fact that Aaron does the characters justice. He doesn't do anything character wise that fans, at least from my perspective, I don't see it as like, oh, that Harley would never do that. What? Come on, that's stupid, right? He doesn't ever even come close to that. But what he does do that I think is genius is he puts him in situations that you're like, why didn't I think of that? Or why hasn't that been done before? Or why is that, so unique and so interesting in the way he does that? So again, I think the first project, and I can't wait to see the second project, but that world that he's creating is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I will my answer will be Will Arnett. Will Arnett. How's that?
Perfect. No, that's great. Will Arnett, Batman, that's your favorite. And I mean, we can't wait to see your nightmare variant of Aquaman, apparently.
Yes, for sure.
Well,
For sure.
I hope you guys
right? like that.
I hope you guys have a good time with it because I'm dead. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Robin's.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
even on this podcast because my character brutally
right.
died. So
You're just here so we can talk about how great you were in the first one and how
Yeah.
great you were in the
Right.
second
You need some
one.
praise.
I would-
You need some praise.
I wouldn't have shown up
Yeah.
if that was the case. But thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy how Aaron has you coming back as the Penguin. I never saw that coming. But
You know what?
Kind of
As
thought.
an actor, you have to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
have to challenge
That's
yourself. And if you're not pushing your boundaries as an actor, you're not doing it. So
No,
I don't know if I
absolutely
can
not.
give away I don't know if I can give away a spoiler, Aaron. But did you tell them what the original title was supposed to be of this movie?
No, go ahead.
Because it's Lazarus Rises, right? But originally it was supposed to be Joel Stands Up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not in the chair anymore.
Joel stands up.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
just you standing up and popping your back.
Absolutely.
Oh,
The original
Yeah,
poster.
right?
Yeah. The original
end.
poster was literally me just like
Yeah, the end.
getting
No.
that.
The end. Roll the credits.
I can see like the comic book font and like a little bubble. It's like cracks back.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd see it. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, every bone in your body.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah. And ironically, it was so weird. I was like, why'd you use my real name, Aaron? Like, okay, I'll go with it. So
Yeah. Well, hey.
yeah.
The chemistry that you all have is absolutely insane. You are all very proud of each other's success. I think that is going to translate in like the best way for this upcoming project. Aaron, I do have to ask you, can you tell everyone a little bit about when we can expect, the cameras to start rolling or how we can get to that point?
Well, I wanted to start shooting in January because I thought under like some miracle that we were going to be funded because I had never done any crowdfunding before or used Indiegogo or any of these other platforms. And I thought, well, surely if with all these views and, everybody just throws in $1, we're off to the races. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. And I mean, there are people that make their livelihoods off of managing these types of campaigns and product launches and things like that on all of these services. And so I completely own the fact that my ignorance played a huge part in only being able to put together such a small number of donors and not being able to hit the benchmark to get this thing made. Because when I say it's elaborate and there's a ton of gore, there are a ton of characters, which means a ton of costumes, which means, cost. And there's a lot of action in this. What I wanted to do was I clearly didn't get an opportunity based on, just the lack of time, lack of, I had $4,800 to make a short film with, is to indulge in all of the other things that director wants to do. Like, maybe I want to direct an action based film, or, something with more gore, or, exciting lighting and opportunity and sets and things like that. Well, that takes time. And, those extra days are extra money. And so I wanted to get a budget together for something that was just filled out. And as far as length of what this will be, I won't know until I get all the pieces and I get all of the inserts and I get the moments. But the way that I want to pace it, I feel like this could be over 20 minutes long. Uh, and people are like kind of bemoan like no short should be that long, blah blah blah, and I disagree. I got a note last night from Jeff Howard, who runs the Sherman Oaks Film Festival, and I sat down with him last night for 2.5 hours and did a really fun interview where we discussed it. And one of the things that he told me that he heard kind of unanimously, and the whole reason we were selected in that festival, and the whole reason that we won the 2 category awards that we did, was because it didn't feel like a 13-minute short film. He goes, honestly, to everyone that watched it, felt like it was about 6 minutes. And he goes, it's when you stop and realize that all this has happened because of the pacing and the music and the performances and stuff, that seconds were just flying by. Well, I think our script is between 17 pages long, but there's enough moments of action and the beats and the things that I want to explore and the things that I want to do. Marley and her expressiveness, and Joel is going to be able to have time now to get up and work the room, and the opportunities that he's going to have are going to take time. And the finished time, not just time on set shooting and moving the camera and shooting and moving the camera, but he's actually going to have a character who's got a moment to work the room, and people are going to see that in the final product. So if our next fundraiser, we now available like online on whether it's on the store, on the page I activated today, a store option where you can buy a t-shirt, and like $16 of the t-shirt cost goes into the piggy bank for getting this movie made. I've sold 1 shirt. So guys, we're $16 closer. But I'm going to try more mechanisms to get this thing funded. We set our budget at $50,000, and with what I did with 5,000 for the first one, I'm going to shoot for hopefully 4 days with that money. And I have to have a stunt team, a stunt coordinator, stunt actors. There's going to be a lot more mouths to feed on this one, but the costumes that we have planned, Aaron Camacho is coming back to help design. So his unique talent is this post-apocalyptic steampunk kind of really raw found object art that he does. I incorporate into my wardrobes again. And so the things you're going to see in this universe are not, some sort of purple suit or some, because that's not the Joker you got. You got a Joker who dresses himself off the bodies of the people that he kills. And in my mind, again, like I was saying with Lauren's Harley. This world that I envision is more grounded, and the people that are villains within this world and the people that are also going to be playing the heroes within this world are sketchy at best. These are the line more constant, with more consistency, which means they're just as likely to get arrested as the villain is. If they get caught fighting one another, they're both going down. So I kind of want to put a focus on that, and twist it up, and then add a lot of gore, a lot of stakes, high stakes. I'm going to just try and harness just 10% of what Ari Aster can do, and just make people truly uncomfortable while they're watching this. And I don't know if people will see it in that way, but that's the work that I'm going to try and do with the finished product. And I think I have the right actors to do it. I think everyone here understands like the assignment, and I think we're moving in a really good direction for maybe shooting early spring. I mean, if we put the money together, like miraculously someone's crazy uncle is just like, I love this band, and then plunks down $50,000, then we're going to shoot in January. That's just what we're going to do. I'm going to fly everyone, and we're going to make this thing. Because pre-production for me, I have more experience now after making the first one. So I know what to do, what not to do. It's a trick because Aaron Camacho is in Europe. He lives there now, but I've been talking with him a lot. He's been sketching. He's been brainstorming. He knows exactly what I want from each of these character costumes. He is chomping at the bit. I don't have any money to give him yet to start buying stuff, but he's already been just acquiring things that he's found to make jewelry and props and just small little garnish for each of these characters. So when people finally see what's happening, I mean, I know that there will probably be some people out there that aren't going to get it. There's always somebody that's just lost, and they're going to see this and just be like, well, I don't understand this. This isn't like every other thing that I've ever seen. I don't understand this Harley. Like, I don't understand, this, I don't understand,
Right.
these things. What am I seeing? It's kind of when they saw David's Joker. It's like, why am I seeing a rictus grin? Well, I mean, that's what it is. That's a medical condition. It's a grin that doesn't go away. So it is fixed, and there is a reason for having it. It's not just that, it's too much makeup or what have you. It's like, no, this is a comic book accurate Joker. This is a comic book accurate thing. And I also need to make it unique. And also, I don't think it's horrific to see the traditional Harley costume. That's not going to scare anyone. And then they see a traditional Red Hood with a mask on, a little
Right.
hockey mask, static mask, no expression. That's not going to scare anyone. It might make you a little uneasy, but it's comfort food for people that already know the IP. And so I have a job to do there in order to make this variant work. And with Aaron Camacho making costumes, with Tatiana Bluchel coming back to do makeup, and then the extra assistance that we'll be able to give her, as far as just being able to give her a proper budget, not just $1,100, and that's wages included for her team. It was not very much, but it was enough to pay everybody and enough for her to make the effects that she had to make with very basic household items, but she just made it work. And it fooled the eye. It was very convincing. The ending of Joker's Wild. I had the Atlanta Horror Festival people tell me I won the best blood and gore at Atlanta Horror Fest out of 1,100 submissions. And it's like, and I didn't win crap. Like, Tatiana won best blood and gore, and the reason is because she does a tremendous job of going, okay, well, this is an unfortunate amount of money, but I'm going to give you everything that I can and repurpose what I can and reuse what I can. And then I couldn't focus the camera on it and let people see that and be pulled out of that reality. But if I just gave them a glimpse in the edit of what it was and then added the sound effect that people wince at, and it's fun watching people react to it in real time, because no one, I mean, in canon, he does not die this way. He gets blown up in the comic. He gets beaten. He's not dead yet. He tries to save his mom. The door's locked. The building blows up. That's how Jason Todd dies. And the wounds also kill his mother. Batman gets there too late. And people voted for him by a margin of like 600 or 700 people of all the people that called in. It was a very tiny margin. So there was no way in hell when I was writing Joker's Wild that I was going to show a bunch of dynamite and a timer on it. To me, I'm just like, I'll give people a boombox so they think of Jack Nicholson. I'll give people, where do you get all these toys? I'll give them all these other little Easter eggs, and I'll give them a crowbar, so that the purists all know that all the things that they love are in there. I'll give them black and white stars so they think of Art the Clown. I'll give everybody a little something. And, the black and white striped socks, like, so that everybody gets to go, do that little, do that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV,
Love that.
I wanted everybody that loves the characters and loves the comics and loves the movies to have a little something. So it's like, okay, well, whoever these people are that are making this thing, they love the characters too. So I'm going to give them a little bit of grace. And then at the very end, I'm just like, yeah, but it's David Howard Thornton. Like, he's got to die. He's got. And then David got to go like, oh, yikes, that looks serious. And sold that last scream so well that I'm just like, I knew at that moment I had chills. There were multiple times that I was just like, this is going to be so good because of David, because of Joel. Like, we all felt electric on set at that moment. I can't speak for Joel, but like the rest of us at monitor, this poor guy's blindfolded.
I was going to say, I was excited.
Didn't see anything.
At monitor, we're all just like grinning like idiots. And I've been on a lot of sets, from boring commercials to like really fun passion projects for other people's short films. And there is an electricity, but like, we were leaning into the monitor. Everybody from every department that did such a good job was just right there going like, this is working. Like, this is really fun. Like, you always cross your fingers when you're on set going, oh, this take was great. I hope they use this take. But you don't have any control over that in post. I'm the gaffer, or I'm the key grip on that. And I'm just like, oh, please God, use this performance. And then you see the final product and they probably used some other take, or for whatever reason, maybe it didn't match in the reverse or something like that. Or maybe the sound wasn't great in that take, and so they don't use it. And I know because I was there and I saw the good one and it isn't in there. And I'm like, oh, this is catastrophic. It could have been so much more. Well, I'm watching this and I had control over post, and I'm like, this scream by Joel is perfect. Like, this is the one I'm going to use. I know this. And I didn't have a script supervisor. I couldn't afford to hire another person. So I had to remember this. So for the edit, I'm just like, what the hell scream was it? So it took a little longer because of that. But
plus a couple times I had to ask Aaron for a line. So
yeah. It's just a deeper one. We came up with a system where I was like, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, I'm just shouting out like, okay, Joel, I need about a 6. Okay, Joel, give me a 10. Give me a 20, Joel. Give me a 20. This is a big one. It was so absurd, but like, nobody's laughing at any of that at that time. But it's absurd, but it makes perfect sense to my actor. It makes perfect sense to everyone else. The poor sound guy knows he needs to lean back just a little bit because Joel's going to blow his lungs out. Yeah.
Joel, how was your voice after that?
Well, what's funny is a couple days beforehand, I was like, practicing the screams to just get certain decibels and stuff and see what wouldn't, like, because I was afraid if I went too much that day, I was going to lose my voice halfway through.
Hmm.
So the hardest part was kind of making sure that wouldn't happen. So when by the time we got to the end, I was just really thankful that I didn't sound like Batman until the end. Like at lunch, I was trying to like talk to everybody, but I'm still just like, yeah, guys, thank you. We're all doing great, because I don't want to lose it. So in the end, I'd be like, but towards the end, then that night I got home and like I was still at cloud nine, adrenaline was still high. So I don't think I really felt it till the next day because I was just so happy to be there, excited and happy to be working. So Aaron was so professional on the set and so was David, and it just made it really, really a great experience. So
my great fear was that we were making him so uncomfortable being in that position, to get him a chance to like stretch and move his shoulders around a little bit, that we had a dedicated production assistant at the end
Parker,
with a bottle of water with which one of your buddies was it?
It was Parker.
That was Parker, with a straw, and he's just
absolutely
I'm like, give him some water.
Oh.
Don't let his vocal cords dry out. Like, we got
Parker was
3 more
great.
hours.
Couldn't have done it without Parker, I'll tell you that.
Well, it translated great, so you definitely tapped into those screams very well. I think you guys have all talked about all the great things about Joker's Wild and what to expect from Lazarus Risen. I'll tell you one thing, I'm super excited about seeing it. I'm definitely going to link everybody to any type of fundraising store, whatever it might be. I'm going to share the hell out of it across my social media. We're going to get people really excited about this. I mean, it needs to happen. It needs to happen quick. I can't wait to see you guys in front of the camera again. I can't wait to hear the stories about, all the fun you're having behind the monitors of what you're creating on screen that's about to be seen to the masses. So there's definitely a following here. I know you feel like it might have been a little bit of a slow start with the fundraising, but it's going to happen for you guys and it's well deserved. So I'll definitely be sharing a lot of these links. So I appreciate all of you guys taking the time to chat about your roles, your upcoming roles, and letting people know what to expect from the new film. It's going to be a good one. Thanks again for being here, guys. I appreciate all of you chatting. I'm going to end recording, but we can still chat for a minute afterwards.
Wait.
Oh,
you were recording?
oh yeah. So the funny
we were
thing
warming up.
is, yeah, okay, you're right. This was the warm up. I will hit record here in a second.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah.
We just started gelling. I mean, come on, no.
I know we did. Honestly, I could talk to you guys for a very long time. So, like I said, the passion really shows, and I love hearing about people's passions for these things. So, you guys are all great creatives, and hearing where your mind's at and enjoying working with each other and the things that you love, you're getting to translate to screen. It definitely shows here. I know I've said it a million times, but it's exactly what I see here unfolding. So definitely going to do what I can to help get word of mouth out for this so we can get that sequel out so people can see how that all translates to the screen. Again, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a great night. Thanks for chatting, and everyone, thanks for listening. We will see you again soon.